Okay, this is my Sprint 8 video. Yeah. So first thing I was going to start with is the documentation website. So here's what I have so far. Took a while for me to figure out the modules, but finally got it working. So I kind of have this overarching getting started module, and then the different parts. So the idea is you would go through these steps to like get your very basic first scene up and running. So game initialization, loading resources, setting up your scene, and then creating game objects. And then at the end of all this, you should have a scene with like a game objects just updating and drawing, not really doing anything cool. But I tried to go through and make sure almost everything that you had to use to do all this was documented. So I made sure all the stuff in Gemini is documented, updatable stuff, all of the asset managers are well documented with examples and stuff. Sorry, that's the scene manager. I meant the shader manager. So yeah, basically everything in this module has comments and stuff for each of the functions you would use. So my idea is next is to kind of have each of the different things you would want to do be the different modules. So we'll have a collision setup module, alarm setup, inputable setup, and each of those will be the different kind of next step that you go through. And then when I make each of those modules, I'll just do the same process of going through and making sure every function that the user would want to use is documented. So that's kind of my game plan and overall organization of it. And then for sprite system, let me look in here. So first is image manager. Acts a lot like the other resource managers, has the list of the map of strings with images. And it creates images, nothing too crazy. Then in load resources, so to do stitch, you just load stitch images and give it a pointer to the stitch texture, and it saves it for you. For Gemini Sprite, here is all this stuff. There's two constructors, one with just the image key, one with the image key and rectangle if you want to give it an initial position. So here is all of this. Preloaded in the model manager and the shader manager, the sprite render, and the unit square XY. I just do that in the constructors of the model manager and the shader manager. So the Gemini sprite is good to go. It can retrieve those. And yeah, I got to initialize it. For rendering, the current scene, well, the scene gets a pass through to the camera manager, which is what actually creates and owns the default 2D camera, which is created in the constructor. So here's creating the default 3D and then default 2D. So the camera manager can access that. There's only one of them whenever you need it. And so that when you call render, it gets it for you. Angle, scale factor is just all the mathy stuff. I'm having trouble with the center right now. I just need to think more about the math, and I'm frankly too tired to do it right now. So center's not working, but everything else is. So for HUD manager, so this is my test scene, and HUD manager is the thing that draws things. So creating the stitch sprite is a Gemini sprite, submitting it to be drawn, updating it. So when you first start it, it just rotates. You use draw 2D, and then when you press P, it changes the angle and the position to the middle of the screen and the scale. So stitch is in the bottom left there, and if I press, and it's not overlapping anything, if I press P, he goes in the middle, flips upside down. Yeah, so and then I guess just to be clear, in the drawable, there is draw, and then draw 2D is separate. So then in the drawable manager, when you process elements, you first call the draws and then all the draw 2Ds. So everything in 2D is rendered after everything in 3D. I think that's all I got. My tank demo doesn't have any progress worth really showing off. I mostly just wasted time trying to find cute models with little luck, so we'll see. But yeah, I think that's all I got for my report.